John, finally! I've been trying to reach you all night. Where were you? What happened?
Oh, hey, babe, sorry. I had my phone on silent. I must have missed your calls.
That's not like you, John. And why didn't you call me back? I was worried, sick.
I know, I should have called. It's just that I was at Millie's place yesterday and things got a bit intense. She needed a lot of help.
What were you doing there exactly?
Well, I have already told you. Your sister said she wasn't feeling well and she just needed someone there. We just talked about some stuff, that's all.
Some stuff? John, you're not telling me everything. I can sense it. Did something happen between you two? Did you have a fight or something? I mean, what would you and my sister talk about?
Valentina, it's not like that. We just had a heart to heart talk and she needed someone to listen to her. You know how she can get sometimes.
Yeah, I do, but it still doesn't explain why you didn't answer my calls or call me back. I thought something terrible had happened.
Valentina, come on. You know me better than that. I just got caught up in the moment. And I'm sorry for not keeping in touch. I was there for your family. I did that for you too.
Okay, fine. But it still feels weird, you being at her place all night. I thought we shared everything.
We do, babe, and this doesn't mean anything has changed between us. Listen, I'm tired. I gotta go to work.
Okay, John, can we talk about it in person when I'm back?
Of course. I would love to talk and sort things out. I'll see you later, okay?
Yeah, okay. Love you. My name is Valentina, and I'm just your typical office worker. I was engaged to this amazing guy named John, a real catch, if I may say so myself. He worked as a marketer at one of those fancy restaurant chains, and boy, did he make some serious cash. My sister Millie, she's always been the stunning one. She's got those drop dead gorgeous looks and a personality that just draws people in, and believe me, she's always been all about appearances and had this big dream of becoming a model. Can't blame her though. With looks like her, it's like she was born to strut down runaways. But let's get back to John and me. It all started in the most unexpected way. We were strangers who met at a book club, and I didn't think much about it, but one day, out of the blue, he confessed his feelings to me after we finished our lunch. I didn't see that coming. After all, we started going out. We were really happy together. John had this way of making even the most mundane things feel like an adventure. Time flew by like crazy, and before I knew it, it had been a year of pure bliss. That's when John decided to take things up a notch. He proposed to me, and my heart could have burst with joy. I enthusiastically said yes without even a moment of hesitation. So there we were, ready to share the big news with my family. We headed straight to their house, knowing they would be over the moon to hear about our engagement. And we were right. As soon as we spilled the beans, their faces lit up with joy. They hugged us tightly, and I could feel the warmth of their love enveloping us both. However, I couldn't help but notice Millie's reaction. I knew that she had always been a bit competitive with me. She had been single for a while at that point, after having been cheated on her by her rich ex boyfriend. And here I was, engaged to a successful and handsome guy like John. As the news sunk in, her smile began to fade, replaced by a look of shock and maybe even a hint of envy. I could tell she was not happy at all, and that bothered me. I mean, this was a time for celebration, and all I wanted was her support and happiness. But Millie had this way of being subtly disapproving without outright saying it. She was a master of passive aggressiveness, and I could sense the tension building up. She kept glancing at John, sizing him up, and I could almost hear her mind churning with judgment. Then, out of the blue, she came up with this excuse to get John's contact information, pretending it was for some friendly reason. She asked him if they could exchange details. You can call me paranoid at this point, but I swear I could see her through her act. Millie had a habit of undermining my relationships, and I wasn't about to let her create unnecessary drama. But being the person John was, he didn't think much of it and casually exchanged numbers with her. I knew he was just trying to be polite, not realizing the tension that had been simmering between Millie and me for years. As the day went on, I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. It was like a cloud hanging over what was supposed to be a joyous occasion. Life had a funny way of taking unexpected turns, and this turn was one that none of us saw coming. While I was away on a workation with my company, Millie decided to execute a plan that would change everything. She played it smart, pretending to be sick and needing some company while I was out of town. Innocent enough, right? But she had more than just family bonding in mind. Taking advantage of my absence, Millie lured John to her house. I don't know exactly what she said or did, but she must have put on quite the act. John, being the kind and caring person he was, fell right into her trap. Perhaps he thought he was doing the right thing by comforting my supposedly ailing sister. He texted me to say that he was heading over to Millie's to help her out. And then after that, he just disappeared. I couldn't reach him on the phone until the next morning. As soon as he woke up, I called him. Something in his voice told me that he was trying to hide a secret from me. John, finally! I've been trying to reach you all night. Where were you? What happened?
Oh, hey, babe, sorry. I had my phone on silent. I must have missed your calls.
That's not like you, John. And why didn't you call me back? I was worried sick.
I know, I know, I should have called. It's just that I was at Millie's place yesterday and things got a bit intense. She needed a lot of help.
What were you doing there exactly?
Well, I have already told you. Your sister said she wasn't feeling well and she just needed someone there. We just talked about some stuff, that's all.
Some stuff? John, you're not telling me everything. I can sense it. Did something happen between you two? Did you have a fight or something? I mean, what would you and my sister talk about?
Valentina, it's not like that. We just had a heart-to-heart talk and she needed someone to listen to her. You know how she can get sometimes.
Yeah, I do, but it still doesn't explain why you didn't answer my calls or call me back. I thought something terrible had happened.
Valentina, come on. You know me better than that. I just got caught up in the moment. And I'm sorry for not keeping in touch. I was there for your family. I did that for you too.
Okay, fine. But it still feels weird, you being at her place all night. I thought we shared everything.
We do, babe, and this doesn't mean anything has changed between us. Listen, I'm tired. I gotta go to work.
Okay, John, can we talk about it in person when I'm back?
Of course. I would love to talk and sort things out. I'll see you later, okay?
Yeah, okay. Love you. The phone call ends, leaving me still doubtful and uncertain about what exactly happened between John and Millie. I know there's something he's not telling me. It turned out that I was right. My gut feeling was unfortunately on point. That was the last conversation we had had as a couple. The days after that, John started to respond to my text less and less. He wouldn't pick up the phone when I called, and I didn't know why. 2 weeks later, as soon as I was back from my trip, I received a text from Millie, of all things, breaking the news. It was a picture of her lying on top of John on our couch. I was blindsided, heartbroken, and furious all at once. I couldn't believe what I was reading. The person I trusted the most had betrayed me, and the sister I thought I knew so well had played a deceitful game. Hey sis, listen, something has changed. Turns out that the one John truly connects with is me. I've packed all of your belongings and sent them back to your place so I can move into John's. I know you'll understand. You always do. Love ya, XOXO. Can you believe it? The man I was about to marry, the one who had proposed to me with so much love and happiness, was now holding my sister like he used to hold me. I rushed back home as soon as I could, trying to confront John and make sense of the situation, but it was too late. The damage was already done, and he had made up his mind. When he opened the door and saw my face, he was ice cold. I had never seen him that way before.
What are you doing here, Valentina?
We need to talk, John. You just can't end things like this.
There's nothing left to talk about. I made my decision and I don't want to discuss it anymore.
John, what happened between us? We were happy and then suddenly you're confessing feelings for Millie, my sister?
Look, Valentina, things change. Feelings change. I can't deny what I feel any longer. She's someone I can't resist. A woman as beautiful and charming as her, I just can't help it.
Are you serious? You're throwing away what we had just because you're attracted to her looks?
It's not just about her looks, okay? She's so soft and charming, unlike you, and now she needs me, and I won't turn my back on her.
I was always there for you, John. We were planning our future together, and now you're telling me it meant nothing?
It's not that simple, Valentina. I can't be with someone who doesn't understand me.
You can't just throw away everything we had for this, not for my sister. You two are sick.
You need to accept it and move on. This is my decision, and nothing you say can change it.
You're disgusting, both of you.
I don't want to hear from you anymore. Now please, just leave. I need to be alone.
Fine, if that's what you want. And just like that, he ended our relationship. I felt like my whole world had crumbled in an instant. The pain and betrayal were overwhelming. How could this happen? I thought we had something real, something unbreakable, and yet here I was, left picking up the pieces of my broken heart. Millie, on the other hand, seemed almost smug about the whole thing. She got what she wanted, John, and it felt like she had won some twisted competition that I didn't even know we were in. She kept texting in the family group chat about this new guy that she fell in love with, knowing fully well that would just break my heart even more. My parents didn't know who the guy was because she wasn't showing any of his face, so they were so happy for her. I was devastated. And just a month later, Millie and John announced that they were getting married. It felt like a knife twisting in my heart. Millie even dared to tell me that she wanted me at their wedding reception as if it were some sort of consolation prize. The thought of attending their celebration was too much to bear. But Millie didn't stop there. She was bragging with everyone about how successful her new fiancé was, that she could quit her job and never work again. My mental health was deteriorating, and I had to quit my job. I shut myself in my room, not wanting to face the world, or anyone for that matter. I couldn't stop thinking about how my life had taken such an unexpected and painful turn. My parents were worried sick about me, and they apologized profusely for Millie's actions. They couldn't believe she would be so callous and insensitive now that they found out who her groom was. But amidst the darkness and despair, a tiny glimmer of hope began to flicker within me. I knew I couldn't stay in that suffocating environment any longer. I needed to find a way to heal and move forward with my life. Determination set in, and I made a decision. I was going to leave home, start fresh in a new place with a peaceful environment, and find happiness on my own terms. It wasn't an easy decision to make, leaving behind the comfort of my family and familiar surroundings, but I knew it was necessary for my well-being. I couldn't let this heartbreak define my future. With the support of my parents, I began to plan my escape to a new chapter of my life. I researched different cities and towns, and after careful consideration, I finally found a place that felt like the perfect escape, a small town nestled between lush greenery and rolling hills. It seemed like a place where I could find peace and rediscover myself. Saying goodbye to my parents was bittersweet, but they understood my need for space and healing. With their love and blessings, I set off on my journey to a new beginning. As I settled into my new surroundings, I felt a sense of liberation. Life in the small town had its way of surprising me. I found a job at a cozy little restaurant, and it turned out to be perfect fit for me. The manager, Philip, was kind, understanding, and had a genuine passion for his work. As days turned into weeks, we grew closer, and our friendship blossomed into something more. One day, with a hint of nervousness in his eyes, Philip confessed his feelings to me. I couldn't help but feel a bit hesitant at first, my heart still bearing the scars of past betrayal. But as I got to know Philip better, I realized that he too had been through a similar experience of heartbreak in the past. His vulnerability and sincerity struck a chord with me, and I saw a glimpse of hope for a new beginning. Eventually, I took a leap of faith and accepted Philip's love. It wasn't easy, but I knew that I couldn't let fear dictate my life forever. Sometimes we have to open our hearts again, risking pain, to find the happiness we truly deserve. Philip and I began dating, and he became my rock, my support system, and my source of happiness. We shared moments of laughter, support, and growth, and the joy he brought into my life was immeasurable. I decided to visit my parents after some time, eager to share the happiness that had found its way back into my heart. Their faces lit up as they saw the sparkle in my eyes, the same sparkle that had dimmed for a while. They were overjoyed to see me happy again, and their warm embrace felt like a comforting reminder that I was never alone. But then, they had to break the news to me. During the months that I was away, Millie and John had finally finalized planning their fancy wedding, and I was invited. I hesitated and then agreed to come. With Philip by my side, I was ready to face my past. Attending Millie's wedding as Philip's girlfriend was a bold move, but I wanted to show that I had moved on and found happiness. Surprising both Millie and John was an understatement. Their jaws practically hit the floor when they saw me walk in on Philip's arm. But the biggest surprise was yet to come. For some reason, John was extra nice to me and Philip that day, addressing Philip by his surname. As the wedding day unfolded, I finally asked Philip what was going on. That was when I discovered that Philip was more than just a manager at my restaurant. He was the heir to the whole chain with multiple locations across the country. And believe it or not, John was working for the very company Philip will soon own. Talk about a twist of fate. Philip knew my past, so I could see the anger and disgust in his eyes every time John came around. In the next few days, Philip made some calls. He got John fired in a blink of an eye. To add salt to the wound, John and Millie couldn't pay off the debt from their lavish wedding. All those grand plans they had, their dreams of a fairy tale marriage, came crashing down around them. It was tough to watch, but I knew they had brought this on themselves. Millie, who was so keen on material wealth and appearances, was now facing the consequences of her choices. She was determined to get an annulment now that John was broke, but it seemed like the universe had other plans for her. Even my parents, who had been so blinded by Millie's charm in the past, finally saw her for who she was. They refused to support her any longer for her terrible behaviors. The truth about Millie's manipulative way had come to light, and it was a painful awakening for everyone. Nobody wanted to help or befriend her anymore. She had to struggle to make ends meet. As time went on, Philip and I continued to build our lives together. With his inheritance, we had the means to travel, explore, and create memories that will last a lifetime. But more importantly, we shared a deep bond of love, trust, and respect that made our relationship stronger with each passing day. Together, we ran the restaurant chain smoothly and became the power couple everyone was dreaming of. Looking back on my journey, I realized that sometimes the most painful experiences could lead us to our greatest blessings. It wasn't an easy road, but it brought me to a place of strength, resilience, and love that was truly worth fighting for.